Ginny and Georgia, a dramedy created by Sarah Lampert, hit Netflix on the 24th of February. Viewers couldn't help marveling at such a thrilling mother-daughter relationship projected by the show. Like a roller coaster, the show takes you through highs and lows and leaves you wanting more. Interestingly, having some knowledge about some behind-the-scenes secrets will even make the whole Ginny and Georgia experience more intense and exciting. First, some of Season 1 details were Sarah Lampert's high school experiences. Some of Ginny's high school experiences were inspired by Sarah Lampert's high school days. One scene that stood out would be the tampon scene. In Netflix press notes, Lampert says, "My tampon flew across the room and hit my crush on the forehead." If you're wondering how embarrassed Lampert must have felt back then, Ginny gave the perfect facial expression when she slipped in class and her tampon fell on Hunter's, Mason Temple's, face. Also, the love triangle in the show wasn't merely fictional. Sarah Lampert was also caught in this thrilling and not-so-funny scenario as a teenager. The show did a good job of depicting this through Ginny's overwhelming love triangle with Hunter and Marcus. "I've been in a very dramatic love triangle, so keeping the show rooted in authenticity was important," Sarah said. Secondly, the movie was filmed in Ontario. This one is almost unbelievable because the movie begins with Ginny and Georgia's new life in Wellsbury. One could blindly argue that it was shot in the United States, whereas somewhere in the beautiful, serene town of Cobourg, Ontario, the director and cast were creating something beautiful and thrilling. Next, Brianne Howey was the last actor to be cast. It's easy to conclude that the Georgia character, played by Brianne Howey, was created with the fabulous actress in mind, taking into consideration how well she played the role. Surprisingly, the Southern Belle was even the last actor to be cast. In a statement to Entertainment Weekly, showrunner Deborah Fish said, "We had to find the perfect Georgia that balanced beauty, that's going to kill you with a smile, but will stab you in the chest without you seeing it coming." Deborah J. Fisher also added that, "On one of the last days of casting, we brought Howey in to read with Gentry, and we were like, we just found Ginny and Georgia." Sometimes beautiful things come later in life. Agree? Up next, the Oppression Olympic scene was a collaboration between Antonia Gentry and Mason Temple. Tagged as one of the most controversial scenes, it turns out that this scene was a collaboration between Antonia Gentry and Mason Temple. The stereotypical lines they throw at each other is inspired by their real lives. Gentry confirms this in an interview. "Us doing that scene and having to say those things to each other that were hurtful, but were words that we had heard growing up all of our lives from different people, strangers, friends, family members. It was so emotional. We got through the scene and at the end, we just hugged each other for a solid minute just to say, it was okay. I am here for you. I see you." Sarah Lampert attests to this when she said, "When shooting the argument, we all felt that day how powerful that was. We were all crying that day in the video village. Tony was crying, Mason was crying. Everyone just felt like it was something really important happening. I think it was really important to let Tony and Mason craft it." Although a lot of critics have tagged this as an excuse for bad writing, explaining that Gentry and Temple aren't co-writers of the movie and they were never fully developed to have their own words. Despite this, it's fair to state that the scene gives the movie an emotional punch. Number 6. Sarah Lampert added the tap dancing scene after learning about Temple's IRT skills. Season 1, Episode 6, titled Happy Sweet 16, where Hunter did the admirable tap dancing, probably got the wow out of you too, just like it did to us. Intriguingly, this scene wasn't originally part of the script. The writers only included it after they got to know about Temple's daunting tap dancing abilities. The cast knows they can't mention anything to me because it will find its way into the show. Mason had been rehearsing in the cafeteria and Deb Fisher walked into our office and went, "I just saw Mason tap dance. It's in the show," Sarah Lampert said to Entertainment Weekly. Next, Ginny's besties knew each other before the show. Ginny and her friends, Max, Nora, and Happy, are a beautiful sight to behold, and the way they stand up for each other is just so cute. The secret? Well, Ginny's friends have always known each other. That explains the magic and chemistry they allude to. Perhaps the admirable bond between men owes itself to the fact that they already knew each other, or they're just simply great actresses. Well, both if you ask me. Max, played by Sarah Weisglass, officially stated that they have similar interests in real life. Katie and Chelsea are from Toronto, and so am I. We knew each other loosely, and before we went in for our audition, we all got together and just sat around, talked, and we got really close, Weisglass shared with 17. What more? Ginny and Georgia sought Mental Health America's consultation. The Ginny and Georgia series portrays a lot of sensitive issues. For instance, Ginny resorts to self-harm when stressed and anxious, while Abby suffers body dysmorphia. Thus, it shouldn't come as a surprise that the movie sought Mental Health America's consultation. Fisher told Netflix, "The feedback from Mental Health America was crucially important to us as we aim to shine a light on these issues and model the way teens can support each other and get the help they need without further stigmatizing mental health." No doubt the feedback helped the writers and directors portray sensitive issues without vilifying mental health. health. Another behind-the-scenes secret is that the show captures Antonia Gentry's real-life struggles. The series depicts struggles that Antonia Gentry may have been realistically facing. The movie includes racial and aggressive remarks toward Ginny. These remarks were inspired by the actress's experience while growing up as a biracial teenager. Growing up, I didn't really have that kind of representation on TV. Shows didn't really have interracial couples, so I never really saw my parents reflected on the screen. Sarah, the creator of the show, set me aside and said, "I want to hear what it was like growing up. I don't know what it's like to walk in your shoes." For the first time, I felt like I had a voice, let alone a voice on Netflix that could reach millions of people. I basically told her what it was like being biracial and having a lot of white friends, and that added layer of always being the different one no matter what you do. Next, body issues. Abby, a member of Mang, suffers from body dysmorphia. Superficially, Abby may seem like an unhappy teen, but as the show progresses, we discover that she suffers from low self-esteem, mentally and physically. Apart from having low self-esteem, Abby also felt the pressure of a broken home, with her parents on the verge of divorce. Thus, she projected this in her relationship with Mang. Abby was reluctant to allow Ginny into their group. She also judged herself in the mirror and duct-taped her thighs just to fit into jeans. Teens often suffer from low self-esteem and pressure themselves into having the perfect image. The show played a significant role in illustrating this. So, next big secret. Antonia Gentry is 23 years old. We meet the beautiful, sassy 15-year-old Ginny for the first time in episode 1 when she hits the road with her family in her mom's black BMW convertible. Well, this daunting actress is actually 23. Born on the 30th of September 1997, the young, talented biracial actress is becoming a force to reckon with. For a 23-year-old, we must say she played the character of 15-year-old Ginny well. Looks like she'll be in our faces very often. Finally, Brianne grew up with a young single mom. Playing the role of Georgia must have been emotionally challenging and daunting for Brianne Howey, as she also grew up with a single mom. In an interview with Du Jour, Brianne says, "I grew up with a super young single mom. This couldn't have hit any more close to home. The viewer is often caught between hating or sympathizing with Georgia. However, the other moms at Wellsbury think she's just a Jezebel. Meanwhile, Ginny's classmates think Georgia is the hottest mom ever. To Ginny, Georgia is embarrassing. But whatever opinion each person has of her, one thing is certain. Georgia is a single mom ready to do anything to give Ginny and Austin a better life." That's all we have for today. Which of the secrets came as a big surprise to you? Let us know in the comments section. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. See you next time.